performing right down the road, actually, in Navasota on August the 10th and the 11th at the annual Navasota Blues Festival. That's held each and every year at the Grimes County Fairgrounds, a wonderful facility run by some mighty fine folks up there in Navasota. Why don't we talk a little bit about the fest, Steve, and how you got involved with these folks up here in Navasota? I know your music fits seamlessly with what they're trying to do up there.
Well, I appreciate that. Friend of mine in Shreveport that used to be in a band called A-Train, now with the Bluebirds, Bruce Flett.
Bruce Flett, yeah.
Introduced me to those folks, and we were all really hit it off, and worked out good. I think they liked the fact that I play some Mance Lipscomb songs, and we got to knowing each other that way, and then got involved in the statue project a little bit together. They've had a statue up there that a bunch of us tried to help get done. Been there for a couple of years. You know, Mance was just such an incredible songster.
Recognized in the state of Texas as the music capital, the official music capital of Texas.
Exactly.
I know Austin claims it, but now Navasota actually has it in law.
I think Governor Perry did that, and you know, he does a lot of proclaiming.
Right.
You know, yeah.
That's okay. The Navasota Blues Festival, once again, it's going to be held on August the 10th and 11th of this year. That's a Friday and Saturday at Grimes County Expo Center, which is located at 5280 FM 3455 in Navasota, Texas. This is an air-conditioned, no smoking hall. A very, very family-friendly event. Handicap accessible, tons of parking, food, vendors, all kind of goodies out there, and
serve beer and setups, but BYOL is accepted as long as you behave.
Yeah.
But that air conditioning...
I've never seen any problems up there, by the way.
No, nor have I. Yeah. That air conditioning is a particularly redeeming quality on the upper Gulf Coast of the state of Texas in August. You know, I mean, that's really nice. And they fill that place up. I mean, they have some great bands, a lot of different kinds of music. They always paint with a pretty broad brush. I kind of like that. It's not the same thing, one band after the other, you know.
Mance Lipscomb, of course, he's kind of the official mascot of Navasota, the musical spokesman of Navasota Music Festival, Blues Festival. What is it about Mance Lipscomb that distinguishes himself from, say, Blind Lemon Jefferson or other artists that are, famously early rural roots blues musicians come out of Texas?
Well, Mance would have been a generation behind Blind Lemon, probably, I guess. Wouldn't that be about right?
A little bit,
yeah. And Mance was a sharecropper. Never lived outside of Grimes County till he got, quote, discovered in the 60s and taken to California to play at McCabe's and all of that stuff. I mean, he was the real deal.
How'd that come about, by the way? That's an interesting story unto itself.
Well, I guess it was, and I may be lying here, but if it wasn't Chris Strachwich at our HOWELL Records out there on the West Coast that came and got Mance and took him out there, it was one of his contemporaries at one of the other labels in that tier, you know, and Mance just wowed him because he, they refer to him as a songster. I mean, this was the kind of guy like in Grimes County he'd play, Pennies from Heaven at a White Fish Fry. Man, it wasn't all country blues. And I mean, he played whatever the people wanted to hear, and
he played for the crowd, just like a lot of musicians do today.
Sure,
they'll work off the crowd and whatever they want to hear. They'll kind of, if you're going to put that extra coin in my guitar case, well, hey, I can give it a shot, huh?
Well, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you start that double guitar lead on Hotel California, you're out of the band, okay? but the playing people what they like to hear, there's nothing wrong with that. Never has been, never will be. And Mance was apparently real good at it, you know. A great fingerstyle player, just as genuine and honest, and from what I've heard, incredulous that people would make so much over him, you know. Yeah. Just couldn't really understand it. But that's that regional thing again, you know.
Now, do you think you could pull a Mance Lipscomb tune out of your bag of tricks and give us a run at one?
Sure, I got a nice version on that CD you're holding over there. Would you want to do that? Or would you rather I just...
while I got you in the studio, I'd rather you play it for us right here.
Okay, sure.
Can you do that for us?
Absolutely. This song is about a guy named Charlie James, and I was told by Michael Birnbaum, who was Mance's go-to guy on the West Coast. Michael will be at the festival. He's done some instructional Mance Lipscomb tapes and stuff. That Mance's dad taught him this song. He used to play it on the banjo, and Charlie James was a slave catcher. you see Charlie James coming down the road, please don't tell him which way you see me go. Had a whole lot of trouble since I saw you last. Don't know my future, sure can't tell my past. Look on down the road, far as I could see. Thought I spied my old time used to be. Had a whole lot of money one old sunshine day. The next day I did not have a dime. In the morning soon, in the morning soon, I'm going back to Houston in the morning soon. When a man gets in trouble, everybody throws him down. He's looking for his friends, but they won't come around. If you see Charlie James coming down the road, please don't tell him which way you see me go. Had a whole lot of trouble since I saw you last. Don't know my future, sure won't tell my past.
KPFT. What a beautiful tribute to Mr. Lance Lipscomb. Once again, Steve is here talking about the 17th annual. God, I can't believe it. 17 years of this already. 17th annual Navasota Blues Fest. Going to be held August 10th and 11th at Grimes County Expo Center in Navasota. It's a Friday and a Saturday. We're going to be giving away some tickets for that a little bit later on the show. So if you're out there listening, don't walk too far away because you're going to miss out. What we're going to do is we're going to give away weekend passes. I think we're going to give, what, three, baby girl? 4. We're going to give away 4 weekend passes a little bit later in the show. This will get you into either day. And the musical lineup will consist of Texas Johnny Boy, Blind Orange Jefferson, Sweet Mama Cotton, and the Sugar Daddies. Of course, the Steve Howell Trio. Who else is going to be in the trio, Steve, while I got you here?
Oh, this is my long-standing trio. It's Chris Michaels on bass and Dave Hoffpower on drums. We played together a long time in Shreveport. They're in Little Rock now.
So those are the same cats we saw you with in Memphis?
Yeah, right.
Okay, same.
Right.
Also, there's a Blues Brothers tribute act to be formed in Texas. Johnny Brown, the Quality Blues Band, yeah! Don Cassee and the Blues Masters, Patrick McLaughlin, the Lady D, and Lincoln Durham. To find out more information about the Navasota Blues Fest, the best location would be to go to directly to their website, which is simply www.navasotabluesfest.org. Once again, www.navasotabluesfest.org. You'll get all the information, times, dates, locations, directions, and I'm just looking at beer soda setups, barbecue, fried catfish, chicken, roasted corn, baked potatoes, hamburgers, hot dogs, and more. So you won't have to pack a sack lunch. They got plenty of grub up there all put on by some fine folks, volunteers. There are volunteers up there. Most of these are Chamber of Commerce folks, or exactly?
I'm guessing.
Where are they getting their pool of volunteers from?
Well, just locally. I'm not sure what the exact organization furnishing them is. If it's a local service club or if they've just got their own kind of Blues Fest club. I'm really not sure.
Steve Howell here in the studio. Tell us about the disc that you have available once again, Steve, because I want to make sure that folks know how to
sure.
go out and get these.
Well, my first one. Go ahead.
The three discs are, excuse me.
Yes, Out of the Past is my first one, and that's more really rural country blues mixed with traditional jazz. Do you know what it means to miss New Orleans? Some stuff like that. A Sleepy Time Down South mixed in with it.
And that's a great tune on that disc, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. And my second record, My Mind Gets to Ramblin', is largely blues. My third one, Since I Saw You Last, is a mix again of a little torch song or two and a little rockabilly sounding stuff, some R&B ballad stuff, and mixed in with a bunch of country blues.
So I know you probably already had enough time to plan on what's next for Steve Howell.
Always kind of trying to stir the pot and doing a little recording
Back on the
along
Sandbox
the way.
playing again?
Well, probably, or Joe and I are still playing together. We've actually been doing some. Joe Osborne, the bass player on my records, along with Chris Michaels in spots. We've been working on some instrumental duet stuff that we want to try to do. So
Capture?
That may be the next. Yeah, that may be the next move. Yeah, well, while I've got Joe, I ought to be doing something.
You need to speak more about Joe, because Joe's a pretty interesting character. I wish you could
he
brought
is.
him down here.
Well, Joe came up in the 50s playing rockabilly music on the Bossier Strip, and played with Dale Hawkins of Susie Q's fame, played with Dale and played with Dale's brother Jerry out there on the Bossier Strip. Went on the road for a while, played in Vegas with some bands, and Joe graduated high school with James Burton, the guitarist, and with Elvis and a whole lot of other people. In 1960, Joe got the phone call from James to come out and join Ricky Nelson's band. So he's the bass player on Ozzie and Harriet, for goodness sakes. And then got in
America's famous family, huh?
Hey, man, I loved everybody except Ozzie, okay? Nothing against him, I'm sure. But at any rate, Joe took that and went into a studio career out there. He was in Johnny Rivers' band when he had all of his hits and was playing at the Whiskey A Go-Go. Was backed up the headliner at the Monterey Pop Festival. That was the Mamas and the Papas. He was on all their records. He's particularly known for his work with Simon and Garfunkel on the Bridge Over Troubled Water album. Everybody from Dean Martin to me, all these years, was a member of that wrecking crew out there, the 20 guys that made all the pop music in the 60s, That deal was all the same musicians on everything. And Joe was
thank you for making my point now. A more interesting guy you wouldn't want to have on your team collaborate with you on any particular songs.
A lot more interesting than me, I can tell you that for sure.
Steve Howell.
And a prince, a gentleman, a wonderful guy,
Now, Steve, I know you're heavily involved in a lot of activities. You're, along with being a full-time musician, you're also are knee-deep in the local oil and gas industry. You want to talk just a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm an independent producer. It's a family affair. I've got 3 generations under one roof, and probably about 120 cumulative years of experience at it. And we just kind of do our own thing at our own pace and don't really...
So you heard it right here, folks. Steve has a long-time history of gas.
Really? Like that commercial where the lady's handing that stuff out on the plane and the wife points at her husband, Yeah, right.
But you're still heavily involved in your local community. A lot of activities. You're involved in a lot of nonprofits and NPR radio and different boards and foundations. You want to tell our listeners a little bit about some of those endeavors, because I think that's very, very important.